Welcome to a brief overview of my internship with Rachel Wagner of Rachel's Reviews and the Hallmarkies Podcast Network. This video will serve as a portfolio of the work I did with Rachel for her YouTube channels and podcast in 2019 and the first couple months of 2020. I'm much better at reading scripts than remembering lines, so instead of filming myself, I have a digital stand-in for moments like this and in between images. Now, as this internship was for a podcast network, the bulk of my work over the course of this internship was editing podcasts, which are not visual. I worked on all of Rachel's shows, which included everything from the reviews of new movies to old classics, as well as interviews with people in many areas of the industry. However, since most of that is audio-based, I'll just include a few clips here from some of those podcasts, and I'll link you to the full episodes below if you're interested.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies Podcast. I'm so excited to bring with you another interview with a talented director today. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner. I'm here talking with director Brian Herzlinger. And Brian, thank you so much.
You said the last name right. You
did I? Yes.
Yes.
This is exciting. So, Brian, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm pumped, and I love your podcast. So this is exciting.
Well, that's awesome, and we really appreciate it. And you have had a pretty, in my opinion, a pretty great winning streak. So I'm excited to talk with you. But what we like to do with all of our guests is we ask you to introduce yourself and to tell us what inspired you to become a director.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm Brian Herzlinger. I'm a director and a writer. And I did some on-air stuff for like the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I was on there for 3 years, but it was all about movies. I was the independent filmmaker correspondent for Leno. But for me, I've always wanted to direct movies, always wanted to make movies. And where did that start? It started probably when I was 4, and the first movie I saw in the theater was The Empire Strikes Back, and that blew my mind, and I started loving movies from there. I didn't know I could actually go into making movies for a living until I took the risk in high school, where instead of going into veterinary medicine, I said to my parents, I want to make movies. And they're like, okay, you better be successful at it. So there it is.
Yeah.
And that was the journey right there. But I always loved movies.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. We are talking about obscure, underseen, underappreciated animation. We do this once a month. And today we're looking at basically it's kind of a longer music video album movie thing. It's called Interstella 5555, the story of the secret 5-star system. I don't know how you say that title, but I'm really excited to talk about it. I'm Rachel, and Stanford is here.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, and we have a guest here, a frequent fan of the channel, commentator Ryan is here.
How's it going, everyone? Ryan here, yes, the one and only, and I stand before you today to join you guys on this podcast to talk about Interstella 5555.
Yes, and so you had actually particularly requested we do this for obscure animation. Is that correct?
Yes, I really love this movie.
Oh, that's awesome to know that Ryan was the one who requested. Well, thank you, Ryan. He was broadening our horizons.
No problem.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Rachel's kind of done the same for me, too, though.
Oh, good. That makes me feel good.
Rachel always has such great choices, and I likewise, I learned so much from Rachel.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, I'm going to learn a lot from both of you today, because part of my hesitancy, honestly, to talk about this was because I had never heard of this group or band or duo or whatever you want to refer to it. Daft Punk.
They're actually DJs.
I knew nothing about any of this. So today we are talking about one of our favorite Hall stars, one of everybody's favorite Hall stars. We are going to be talking about the movies of Tyler Hynes. This is going to be very fun, and we have a very special guest with us, his biggest fan on Twitter with us today. So thank you so much. The home of the Hynes Shirts Twitter account is here, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Rachel, as the wardrobe mistress, I am honored. This is really going to be fun.
I'm cutting a chunk of this episode out for time, but again, it'll be linked below if you want the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I interviewed Tyler before his first movie had come out. And
Yes, great interview, by the way.
thank you. He was wonderful and charming, but I wasn't 100% sure if he'd be a great fit, if people would accept sort of his style. And
Yes.
and then, because I hadn't seen a movie of
Right.
him. And then I saw the movie and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Hello.
He's so good. and it transferred so well. And I think it was a real breath of fresh air for the whole Hallmark scene.
I totally sat up and took notice. I mean,
right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Hallmark is definitely on in the background sometimes.
Right. Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like I'm sitting there with a bowl of popcorn every time I see a Hallmark movie. It's sort of like, not exactly elevator
Speaking
noise,
of the background,
Oh my God, no way! Oh, Rachel, you got me. Tyler.
It was such a hard secret to keep.
How did you do that? Oh my gosh.
So,
you're slaying me.
this-
Oh my gosh.
If you don't know, listeners, we have a special guest here on the podcast.
Too funny.
For coming on and talking with us.
so hold
What
on.
a
Are we
riot.
conducting this interview as the shirts, or are we outing the true identity of the shirts?
No. True
No,
identity.
that is my one thing I was adamant with Rachel. It's like,
Yes.
no, I need to keep
You
my,
have to keep the
believe
identity
me,
safe, like that.
oh yeah. My God, dude, you've got rabid fans. Like, I am not prepared to step into that world.
So that was just a sample of the kinds of episodes I edited while working for Rachel. It's hard to tell in the finished product, but as an editor, I remove a lot of repeated words, ums, uhs, and other filler words, and dead space, which happens a lot in interviews that take place over the internet, which usually creates a delay between responses of hosts and guests. Rachel's biggest content output is audio, but she does do some video as well. For the most part, her setup is pretty simple. She conducts her interviews and records with co-hosts using the Zoom app, which she uses to save a video copy of the conversation, or, for most podcasts, just the audio. Most of the time, Rachel prefers to keep her videos simple, and I just edit them the same as I do the audio. However, there are times when Rachel wants something a little more, such as once she had me on her channel to co-host a review of the new Doctor Who trailer. She had me edit the video and wanted to incorporate some footage that we were talking about.
So in the trailer, what were some of the things that stood out to you the most?
Well, I kind of want to go through them in order of least interesting to most interesting. And I know my most interesting isn't probably going to have even made a mark on you because you won't know what it is.
Right.
If it's what I think it is. We'll see.
Okay.
So the first thing that I'm noticing is new creatures. I don't know what they are. It looks like some sort of lizard person at the very beginning, like hitting some glass and cracking it. I don't know what that is, but I'm excited to find out. Then there was I think 2 different shots that looked like they were like birds or bats or something flying around. I don't know if that's what it was, or some creatures, but that's exciting.
And it looks like where this creature is, it looks like they're underground or something. She has like a coal miner kind of hat on.
Then I think everybody who has seen a few of the older seasons, not you because you've only seen one,
right,
will be noticing the Jadoon. Those are rhino aliens. I don't know if you've seen pictures of them, but they've been in a couple other episodes. They're basically just giant, muscly alien rhinoceros people. They speak in a weird language, and you can hear a little bit of that in the trailer. So I know that's going to be exciting to a lot of fans.
What do you think of them driving backwards in traffic? That's kind of exciting.
I noticed a lot of vehicle stuff.
Yeah.
That looked exciting. Like motorcycling through the field. I really like the look of the farm setting of whatever episode that's going to be. I think it looked like they were in like fancy dress. Like it might be
right. It looked like a vineyard to me.
Could be. Yeah, that I'm excited for that just because I think that one's going to look really good. But yeah, the vehicle stuff looked pretty cool. I'm excited to see that chase through the field.
Well, and it's cool to know we're getting Stephen Fry is in this season. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
I was guessing he's thinking he might be the prime minister, maybe?
I don't know. I know that Stephen Fry was supposed to have been involved with Doctor Who years ago. I think he even wrote an episode, but it never got produced. So I guess for longtime fans who have been wanting Stephen Fry and Doctor Who, now you're getting your wish. One of the most frequent kinds of videos that Rachel had me do was her monthly recaps of everything she saw in the theater, using graphics of the posters as well as her custom smile-worthy and frown-worthy ratings icons. These were a lot of fun to put together.
And I'm not a big fan of the nephew character in this, and he plays a big part in this one, and I just found it kind of annoying. I didn't really care for it, so frown-worthy. Then there was Witness to Murder, a Dower Mystery. So this is our fourth Darrow and Darrow movie, and this one I thought was great. I thought the witty banter between Tom Cavanaugh and Kimberly Williams was really, really sharp and fun. You got to see their relationship progress, which I really liked. And you got to see some growth on Wendy Malick's character. It was funny. It's definitely one of the best things to come out of Hallmark this year, and so definitely smile worthy. Then next I saw Hustlers, and I thought that this movie was okay. I liked the performances. Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez, I think, were both good in it, and they had chemistry together as friends. And I think it was filmed pretty well. And overall, it was an interesting story. But I do think that it's been way overhyped. I feel like the story is pretty repetitive in that you get so many of the same kind of dancing scenes over and over again. And then when things go south, you get so many of the same drugging the guys scenes over and over and over again. And I thought there were so many other parts of these people's character that we could have gotten to know, and that I would have been very interested to know about their experiences being a mother, or their relationships outside of the club. I don't know. It was fine. I thought, a perfectly serviceable, entertaining little movie, but it was nothing spectacular in my opinion. I give it smile worthy, but just barely.
One of the first big non-audio or video projects I did for Rachel was help her spin off her Disney show into its own podcast. I set up a new account for her on Anchor and created an archive of all her previous Disney episodes. Part of that process involved creating new art for each episode. Rachel had a specific way she wanted her podcast to look. She wanted a single background color different in every episode, the Disney Castle logo in the background, official art for characters in the movies being discussed, and font that looks like the Disney logo font. I took each of those ideas and made a few tweaks that I thought made them look more eye-catching. Instead of just a plain background color, I gave them each a gradient, and I used a Disney Castle logo that I made from scratch. I used official character art as she requested, but instead of only putting them on the sides of the art, many times I'd make them subtly interact with the other design elements, such as having large characters partially behind the castle, while smaller characters were in front to give the artwork more depth and make it feel a bit more dynamic. We did hit a snag midway through the year when we realized that there was something wrong with her account integrating with iTunes. Anchor is integrated with a variety of podcast platforms and sends every episode to just about everywhere it can be accessed. However, it was not doing this with iTunes, and we discovered that her account had been denied due to copyrighted artwork, i.e. some of those official character artworks I mentioned earlier. So to remedy that, Rachel asked me to come up with one artwork that iTunes could use that would not use any official character art, but would still be obviously Disney, and also on brand with her overall aesthetic. So I created this. I merged an iconic Mickey-esque logo with a microphone, creating a brand new, unique graphic that Rachel could use without fear of having her podcast rejected. iTunes accepted the new cover right away, and it's now actually the highest source of traffic for that show. Now, like with the Disney podcasts, everything that goes up on YouTube or to any podcast platform needs a thumbnail or cover art. Rachel had her own design standards for each kind of graphic, so whenever I needed to make one, I would recreate one of her thumbnails in Adobe Illustrator and make my own template, so that I could quickly make new thumbnails as the need arose. I used these templates to make everything from the Disney covers, to the Hallmarkies podcast art, to covers and thumbnails for her various shows on YouTube, like Obscure Animation or Family Movie Night. I even came up with a brand new kind of thumbnail for her to use in videos for her supporters on Patreon. She and her co-host occasionally do Q&As, so she asked me to design a brand new artwork for each host to use. One of my biggest, most time-consuming projects came toward the end of my internship when I created brand new intros for both her Rachel's Reviews channel and her Hallmarkies YouTube channel. Rachel already had an intro she'd made using a copyright-free jingle and a graphic that had been made for her that she had commissioned from Bitsy Creations, an artist whose cute style Rachel really likes. Rachel has made this caricature of her the main icon of her channel, which you can see in the intro, as well as many thumbnails and cover arts. My idea was to take what Rachel already had, but bring it to life with animation, as well as fix the cut of the jingle, which to me seemed like it was missing a note at the end. That was easy enough to fix, but first I needed the original file. It had been so long since Rachel made it her intro that she couldn't remember what the song was. However, I used the song discovery app Shazam, which identified the royalty-free track she'd used, and I was able to cut together 2 parts from the song to create a new bass for the intro. And that was the easy part. For the animation, I had to go back to the original files. Rachel put me in touch with Joan Saunders Orchard, the artist and owner of Bitsy Creations. We talked back and forth about what I wanted to do, and she graciously allowed me to use her original files to create the opening. I started with her layered AI files and took them apart in Illustrator, relayering them so that they could be used in After Effects. Parts of them I had to either cut apart or recreate myself, as she had made them as solid illustrations, but I wanted to, at the very least, get Rachel's character to wave in the intro. Once that was done, I had to learn the basics of text animation and combined everything to create a fully realized animated video introduction for Rachel to use in all of her videos going forward. However, I didn't stop there. Rachel loves Christmas, so I made her a Christmas variation to use around the holidays, using a couple parts of other Bitsy Creations designs, as well as some of my own artwork. In addition to those, Rachel recently decided she wanted to start including an outro in her YouTube videos. This adds a screen to the end, giving viewers a chance to subscribe or watch another of your videos. Since I was already working on creating new intros, I decided to make her some outros as well, one for each version. The very last and biggest project I worked on for the internship was creating the new animated intro for the Hallmarkies Podcast YouTube channel. This is probably the most challenging thing I did in the whole internship because I was trying to recreate and improve an existing animated intro that they had already been using. One of Rachel's co-hosts, Amber Nelson, had animated an intro video using artwork that she had photoshopped together from images that had been created by Bitsy Creations. Amber was happy to have me take a shot at improving her work and sent me everything she had. However, most of what she had was still JPEGs, so in the end, I basically had to start over from scratch. Once again, I reached out to Joan at Bitsy Creations. I explained what I was doing, and over the course of several emails, she managed to find everything I needed. Again, she sent me all the layered AI files from all the images Amber had used to put together the previous intro. I took all those apart and used all the pieces to create a new image that was similar to Amber's original opening, but this vastly improved both the picture quality and the smoothness of the animation. And then for good measure, I made a new outro as well. So as you can tell, I created a pretty big variety over the course of my internship. Each project came with its own set of challenges, but I learned something new from everything, and even though it was all a lot of work, I had a lot of fun. I'm really grateful to all the people I worked with that helped me accomplish everything this past year, and especially to Rachel for taking me on for this internship. I couldn't have done any of this without you. Thank you.